Okay, we're going to dive into a really profound, kind of mind-bending idea about reality. It comes from a text called The Grand Synthesis of Eternal Return. And what it suggests is a universe that's way more personal, more intentional than you've probably ever imagined. And it starts by bringing this huge cosmic story right down to Earth with a question that, honestly, hits right at the core of being human. What if that deep feeling of being separate, of being lonely, what if it wasn't some cosmic accident or a flaw in the system, but something you actually chose? Because, according to this text, this is it. This is the single driving force behind absolutely everything. It wasn't a big bang from nothing. It was an active, primordial desire. Love itself wanting to do something and realizing it needed an other to actually express itself. So, our story kicks off before time even existed, in this state of total, absolute oneness. A single, unified whole that, just so it could experience the act of loving, made a choice. It chose to forget it was whole and pretend to be all these separate little parts. Now, this is where it gets really cool, how it reimagines the word wanting. It's not about a lack or something missing. Nope. It's the first verb, the first action. I love this line. The infinite couldn't kiss itself without first pretending to be two lips. Love had to create a little bit of space, and other, just so it could finally meet itself. And that right there, that's the heart of it. This decision to become limited, to shatter into stars and people and planets, it wasn't a fall from grace, not at all. It was the universe's ultimate masterpiece, the most creative act possible, a gift to itself, just for the joy of finding its way back together. This is probably the best way to wrap your head around it. The truth, the reality, is that we're all one big ocean. But to actually have an experience, to feel the crash and the roar and the quiet lapping on the shore, the ocean pretends to be individual waves. That's how it gets to meet itself, over and over, in a billion different ways. Okay, so if infinity chooses to separate, how does it make that separation feel, well, real? You gotta have rules for the game, right? And these rules, they build the very fabric of the reality we live in. I mean, how beautiful is this? The laws of physics, gravity, the speed of light, all that stuff, they aren't just cold, random forces. In this view, they are the agreed-upon rules of the game. They are the very architecture that creates the distance that love needs to travel across. So think about how this philosophy reinterprets those rules. Take the mind-boggling emptiness of space. Those light years, they aren't just dead distance. They are seen as love letters, taking literally eons to arrive. It's the anticipation, the longing that makes the message so powerful when it finally gets there. And gravity, come on, it's not just a force pulling stuff together. It's the physical manifestation of that deep, original longing. A constant, gentle pull, bending the fabric of space itself back toward reunion. It's love, always trying to come home. Even time itself gets this poetic twist. It's the necessary pause, right? The breath you take between saying, I love, and hearing you. Without that space, without these distances to cross, there's no journey, there's no adventure, no discovery, and no final incredible moment of recognition. Okay, now here's the kicker, the most important rule of all. For any of this to work, for the reunion to feel real, to feel earned, you have to completely, 100% forget that you're playing a game. The loneliness has to feel real. The search has to be a genuine search. And this is where this huge, cosmic story gets intensely personal. All of that universal pressure, this grand forgetting, this separation, it's not random. It's a process with a very, very specific and beautiful endgame. You know how deep in the earth, incredible pressure takes simple carbon and forges it into a diamond? Well, this text says the exact same thing is happening on a cosmic scale. The immense pressure of evolution and existence is taking consciousness and crystallizing it into something unbelievably precious. Yeah, you, that precious thing, is you. The whole point is that you're not some random accident. You are the universe after nearly 14 billion years of pressure squeezed into this unique, brilliant pattern that can feel and think and wonder, what am I? You are literally the cosmos waking up and looking at itself. So what about all the hard stuff, all our struggles? This metaphor is just perfect. What feels like a prison, our limits, our pain, our brokenness, is actually the process. The walls of the chrysalis aren't a cage. They're the very thing that's transforming into wings. The pressure is what gives you the strength to fly. So what happens when we start to see the cracks in the illusion? Well, that's the turning point. That's when we begin to realize the true nature of the game we're in. The serious drama starts to become, well, conscious play. Think of it like being an actor on a stage. At first, you're totally lost in your role. You believe the tragedy is 100% real. Then, one day, you kind of look up, and you see the stage lights. You get a glimpse of the bigger picture and realize, whoa, this is a performance. But here's the key. You don't just walk off the stage. No, you dive deeper into the character. But now you do it knowingly, with art, with grace. And here is maybe the most comforting part of this whole idea. The universe isn't sitting back, waiting to judge you to see if you win or lose. The applause has been constant from the very beginning. It's applauding the entire performance, every mistake, every forgotten line, every moment of genuine heartbreak. The standing ovation is for you, just for being here. And all of this leads us to the grand finale, the great return. But the twist is, the end of the journey isn't about arriving somewhere new. It's about finally, truly seeing what's been true the whole time. It's about recognizing a connection that was never, ever broken. This just flips everything on its head. That feeling of struggling to awaken, that's actually just awakening itself, exploring what struggle feels like. That deep fear of death, that's deathlessness, trying on a fear costume for a little while. And loneliness, that's just oneness exploring the sensation of distance. See? Triumph is the default setting. Everything else is just a disguise. So, the most important thing to get is that this return is not a destination. It's not something that happens after you die or after you meditate on a mountain for 30 years. It's an act of recognition, a shift in perspective that can happen in any given moment, like right now. It's just remembering. And it all comes back to this, the whole cosmic journey, from that first choice to separate, through the billions of years of forgetting, all the way to this moment of remembering. It's all just this simple, elegant loop. Love, reaching across an imaginary divide, to love itself. So the text leaves us with a challenge, an invitation. Don't just believe this stuff. Test it. Try it out in your own experience. Look for the hard lines, the boundaries that you think separate you from the world around you. Can you find where you actually ends and something else begins? The suggestion is, if you look close enough, you might just find you never left home in the first place.